Okay, Wrestlemaniac. Being a wrestling fan and a horror movie fan, I thought this was going to be an awesome movie. You know, when you take Rey Mysterio and you put him in a horror movie, I was thinking this could probably actually work. You know, from the box art, it shows a guy in a luchador mask. I was thinking, great, this should work beautiful. First off, it is Rey Mysterio Sr., which is Rey's uncle. All 5'9" of him. The opening 20 minutes of this, 78-minute long movie are the characters in a truck driving around Mexico to shoot a porn. With all of the super over-the-top dialogue you would expect from a bunch of stereotypical characters on their way to go shoot porn. One of them's high, one of them's entirely blasted, she doesn't really do anything the whole movie. Then you have the two who kind of make out with each other, a guy in the front who kind of reminds me of like a poor man's Eli Roth, and then the chubby camera guy, or cinematographer. They're driving. They decide, ooh, let's go over here so I can go to the bathroom. Some gas station, middle of nowhere. By this time, they don't have the map. But that's okay, the chubby guy is Mexican. He should know his way around. That's the one that you're going to deal with. We need a map, dude, you're Mexican. I was raised in Seattle. So? You can go to a taco stand. If that comes off as being humorous, this is your movie. If that comes off kind of seeming dumb, strap yourself in, that is the majority of this movie. By the time they make it to Haunted Town and begin to shoot their, I guess you would need to call it porn, the skinny blonde girl who was unconscious the whole time up to this point decides to kind of join in, almost throws up, and then runs barefoot. So of course, she has to run a piece off broken glass. And she gets attacked by something. Stoner guy goes out and does some stuff. He gets attacked by something. When you finally see him, you realize that his face has been ripped off. This, of course, is the worst face rip-off of the movie. It looks like someone just smeared jelly all over his face. And why? Because there's a fact in Mexican wrestling. It's a tradition, not a fact. That if you remove the mask of your opponent, they retire. Yes, that was an old tradition. Quite a few Mexican wrestlers have had their masks removed and still continue to wrestle. Juventud Guerrera. Rey Mysterio was unmasked for quite some time. It's not currently a fact anymore. So then they find out, through listening to some old reel-to-reels, that the killer is a Mexican government super soldier, somewhat professional wrestler, who still thinks he's wrestling. And therefore, he beats his opponent and then tears their face off because they're not wearing a mask. There are some scenes that are not that bad. Ironically. When he hits the girl with a backbreaker, and then peels her face off. When he wrestles, when the fat guy decides to put on a mask and fight him, then loses, then gets his face ripped off. Oh, did I mention one of the girls is with Layla Milani? So she was someone who was on the Diva Search, and I think is now on Deal or No Deal. Yeah. I'd probably say half the scenes of her are filmed entirely using her posterior. Quite a few times she's running and you just see, the cameraman is just zoomed in on her posterior as she's running. Some people thought this movie was fantastic. They loved the direction of it. Is it stupid, schlocky, over-the-top, cheesy? Yes. If you want something that's mind-numbing, where the plot is super paper-thin, and the first 20 minutes, you might as well just skip. You might as well get to the 23-minute mark, where they're already in the town. Because they essentially go back through and explain what happened in the first 20 minutes over the next 5 minutes. And so if you want to see a 5'9" Mexican wrestler going on a killing spree, kind of, because he only kills, let's see, you got 3 girls and 3 guys, so he kills 6 people. Ironically, always the exact same way. He's going to beat the crap out of you and then peel your face off. I was looking for something a little bit more substantial beyond government super soldier Mexican wrestler tearing off people's faces, with probably some of the worst acting and dialogue I've seen in a movie. Go back through my reviews. I have seen some horrendous movies. That's Wrestlemaniac. So if you're a fan of wrestling and a fan of horror, you might find this to be watchable. Not enjoyable. Watchable.